more for me to edit later when I gotta edit out all the background noise.
Yeah, because I don't have enough to do with my life.
Right? Peace. Hey, everybody, Orange Podcast Bad, episode 78. We're getting closer and closer to 100, Paul. We got JC with us. We got Paul with us. The title of this show is Putin Grants Tara Reade Citizenship. I'll go a little farther on that. After 2 years of the Biden administration trying to track her down. And so I've been told by everything I've seen on social media that Putin's bad. Why do people have to keep running away from the Biden administration to get citizenship from Putin? I said he was bad.
You know what? I'm going to pass that over to JC because I'm getting.
Yeah, we've learned something. We've learned something very valuable in this millennium, this young millennium, and that's if the political leader of the nation actually listens to the electorate and acts in ways that they approve, then they're bad. So there you go.
That's a great observation. Yeah.
I mean, Trump's big secret, much to the dismay of the intelligentsia, is that he listens to the voters and he continues to take the 80% side of every 80-20 issue. And the latest evidence of this is today, Schiff, my old friend, I'm still not in his orange jumpsuit that zips in the back yet, but my buddy Schiff introduced legislation to make it a criminal or illegal to drop to drone or otherwise drop bombs on drug boats. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's people in the United States that think that the civil rights of those drug runners are being violated by getting blown out of the water. And the Democrats are going to stand up for the drug runners. What a brilliant political party.
This whole due process thing, for people who aren't American citizens, and even the Supreme Court has said they do have some sort of limited due process. They have a right to a hearing for asylum from the country of their origin, not from here. And then, we should protect the drug cartels and give them due process from what?
From what?
From bringing drugs in to murder our children? Because that's what they do. That's what the drugs do.
Yeah. My grandson, the one who owns these pennants, his father is a fentanyl victim.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Really?
And I think my own daughter, when push comes to shove, that she got a hold of some too, inadvertently, of course, because she was reckless. But what due process did they get? I just don't understand the idea that these scumbags deserve some sort of polite treatment from our attempts to defend our nation. One last one. I put an article on X today that stunned me. It was it was about Spain, and they were talking about the drownings from these African migrant boats and how the Spanish Navy has been fishing them out of the water and saving them and stuff. And somebody had the temerity to ask their admiral or whatever he is, the head of their Navy, why aren't you stopping these boats? He says, oh, that's not our job. Oh, so you have a military that is not involved in I'm with Paul on this. Not
protecting sovereignty of their own nation.
A military that's not involved with protecting the nation from illegal invaders? Really? That's not part of the job description for the Navy?
Okay, I'm tracking. Said no one ever.
God, I don't know how many people in my lifetime I've had to write up in their employment because they told somebody it wasn't their job. And I said, I know this is a different thing, but, and I told them, and it says, or other duties as assigned. Right here, when you signed that you would be an employee, you check the box or other duties as assigned. Other duties as assigned here, Spanish Navy, would be protecting your borders. Well, you didn't have to wait for your daily task list to come down and go mop deck, right? Clean bathrooms,
clean
feed
the bathrooms,
everybody.
polish the gun barrels.
But we didn't have protect the border on our daily task list, Paul. That was not. It wasn't my job. It wasn't my job.
So I've got some input here. Having worked on a DEA, Coast Guard, FBI drug task force in South Florida, we in the 80s and 90s blowing up those boats like happened the other day, that was our routine, except we did it with firearms and not, drones dropping bombs. But let me tell you something. At the end of the day, you're out patrolling coastal waters and you see this thing that looks like some kind of Somalia mud boat. And, we didn't go, hey, what are you guys doing? Can we come over there and talk to you?
Paul, you bring up a
We
great point
identified
because
that they had firearms on the boat. We identified that their bow
the
was low
draft
in
is
the
too
water.
heavy.
They had 5,000 pounds of stuff on them, and we fucking lit them up. We just lit them up.
So, Paul, do you remember during the Barack Hussein Obama era, social media videos going about the Coast Guard catching those pseudo submarines? They weren't full submersibles, but
Oh my
basically,
God! Yeah, the
and
particle
how
submarine.
badass that was. But that was Barack
Yep.
Obama, so that's totally
Yeah.
cool, right? We
Yeah.
just can't do that because Trump bad, Putin bad,
Right.
Bolsonaro
It
bad,
was,
jail
dude, the
Bolsonaro.
coolest thing I'd ever seen was some 18-year-old Coast Guard guy jumping off of his $30 million,
Swift boat.
150-foot Coast Guard cutter onto the back of one of those submarines, opening the hatch and going, close to the hatch. He goes, whoa. And he goes, yeah, we're going to make some arrests now.
Wait for it.
And those videos were all over social media.
They're all over the place.
Did anybody cry?
And nobody ever said a word. Nobody said boo about it.
Nope.
Due process.
I remember Obama using one of the videos. They got on this blue semi-submersible. Just the top portal was with the exhaust pipes, and the air intake was visible. And they're standing in 6 inches of water going at 40 knots, banging on the top of this thing. And all of a sudden, the boat comes to an end. And I remember Obama used that in a recruitment video for the Coast Guard.
That's right.
Right? So, but
yeah,
now,
he's like, you want to have some serious fun?
right.
Look at here.
This is what our Coast Guard does.
Look, I mean, I don't care how many times the feminists who didn't pay any attention to Tara Reade would tell us that toxic masculinity is the enemy. Anybody who doesn't appreciate 12 bunker busters all dropped right down the air chute, or a video where this boat's just, making way and and hitting the top of those waves and and then all of a sudden you are vaporized. Okay.
Yeah, I think in DC comic terms it would be Complow and Kablooey. Be
Kablooey.
Well, so not to put too fine a point on it, it's Kablooey.
but any patriotic American digs that shit. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. I mean, the bad guys get it. I mean, that's the whole thing.
For all of the wrong reasons, I sat up the entire night until CNN went off the air when there was shock and awe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember. I'm a teenager, a young teenager, can't drive a car, and I'm in front of the TV, Indian style. Oh, I know you can't say that. I'm bringing it back, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was a show. It was a show.
Yeah.
Even if I found out, it took me 20 years to figure out it was the wrong thing to do, but that's because they covered the whole thing up. But like, yeah, you watch like Paul said, you watch this and you go, yeah, we're
Yeah.
Americans,
That's
right?
right.
Greg Kelly on Newsmax. I listen. I was a Foxhead. I sat there and watched it too, and Greg Kelly was in bed with one of the units, and he was in the tank, and they were talking about how fast they were taking over the country, and we're going straight to Baghdad. Then he's showering in one of Saddam's palaces, using the
Yep.
indoor plumbing and everything, and oh yeah, yeah, this is great. And then you run into Baghdad Bob, and he tells you everything's fine. And
Yep.
I thought, man, wouldn't it suck to have a press secretary like that in the United States? And then I met Karine Jean-Pierre.
Right? Well, they
Yeah,
did. They
or
they
Jen Sucky.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
remember, so the in-bed reporters, I remember the funniest thing was the way that, Mark, I can't remember his last name, it'll come to me. Uh, in We Three Kings, the movie where they're stealing all the gold from, Baghdad,
yeah.
and they had this embedded reporter with them, and they're like, "No, no, no, you got to understand. We're going to put you in primo shots. We are going to set you up so that you have everything you need to show the American people. And in the meantime, you are going to be with us, robbing bars of gold." From,
Yeah, yeah.
and they weren't far off. I mean,
Oh, dude. No.
That's what was going on. And then we don't
Wahlberg,
do.
Mark Wahlberg, George Clooney, and
Yeah.
Ice
Yeah. It was
Cube.
Three Kings.
Ice Cube, Three
Okay,
Kings.
okay.
Three Kings. Yep. Because I remember the black guy going, "Hey, hey, we ain't doing Dune Coon, Sand Nigger, or any of that stuff. We're just gonna be working together."
It was actually a funny movie.
Yeah,
Very funny.
it was funny. Yeah.
I mean, I think they did a good job of representing the current state of the U.S. media at the time
Yeah.
about
It
it.
was
But
like Lions
that
for
was back
Lambs.
when Hollywood would actually
Yeah.
do that, and they would
Yeah.
punch back.
They would punch back like Lions for Lambs. They did that in that movie with wasn't Glenn Close, I forget her name, but Tom Cruise was in it and Matt Damon and everybody was in it.
We can't
Remember,
remember names because we took Tylenol before the show, and as you know,
yeah,
Tylenol gives you autism.
I hear that there are now like food trucks of Tylenol in near the borders of blue states to distribute thousands of capsules of Tylenol to all Democrats because they've got to mainline it now that Trump said don't take it. So there's
Yeah.
going to be some livers exploding in
No, so
left and
I
right.
gotta tell you, JC, that's funny that you bring this up because I saw this guy Seth um, with one side of his hair shaved, and
Okay.
he had gauges, with the big quarter size gauges,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he had developed similar to a T-shirt shooter, a Tylenol shooter. So he had brought that out so all of the lemmings could stay in the Crosby, Stills, and Nash reunion tour stadium with their mouths open, and he would just go bam and shoot the Tylenol off. It was great, dude.
Extra strength.
Oh,
Oh, absolutely,
one would hope
yeah.
so. But obviously, they didn't even watch what Trump was talking about. They just went Tylenol's banned. It's not banned.
Oh my God, they're just
Something.
like, and I get so sick and fucking tired of 20 something go, Trump's a fascist. Let me tell you something, son.
Mm.
I've I married a girl from a fascist country. I've lived in a fascist country. You fucking don't know what you're talking about. If you were in a fascist country, you would be dead and by now.
Well, and the reason I can say that is because they don't live in a fascist country.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right, and that's the only reason they could say that. If they spoke out this way in an actual fascist country, they'd go to a rooftop party, and I'll leave it there. But you all know what I mean, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's, but we gotta let me get the pharmacist take. Acetaminophen, and everyone online is all laughing at you. Republicans are so stupid you can't even pronounce the correct name of the drug. Well, I just did. Thank you very much. What's the issue he's pointing out here was just during pregnancy and with newborns, right? That
Right. No, he's just saying that some of the activities that Tylenol has, and obviously the dose that's effective for the mother is way above what would be necessary for a child for the symptoms, and yet the blood is shared. So you've got a biophase concentration, that's a fancy word for it, that's way up here. So you're basically overdosing the kid by using a therapeutic dose on the mom
which
because
is
their the blood concentrations will be the same.
which is what he said, but it's being totally misconstrued. He goes, "You're putting
Right.
all of this liquid," is the word he used, into the body. He was talking about the unborn baby's body.
Right.
But being Trump,
Thing
Trump didn't
right.
say it in a
Well, no, next
scientific.
thing you know, they'll be saying he said inject bleach or whatever, like they always do. And no, it's no wonder that he hates discussing anything to do with medical because he's a typical guy that's never paid any attention to it, and so he does a general overview of
Yeah,
what
it
they
just does an
said.
overview. Yeah.
Right, and then they wanna pick him apart on these ridiculous details of medical terminology and whatever, and it's not even slightly fair.
Right.
And yeah, he was right. If you had something inside that could give you that sort of, oh, I don't know, the pulsating light or something like that, yeah, it would work to cure an infection. I mean, but to
Oh, absolutely. Ultraviolet light is what he was specifically talking
right,
about because ultraviolet violet light kills bacteria. And I made a comment back before Operation Warp Speed got underway. That I managed a pet store for 6 years, and we always recommended to those who could afford it ultraviolet lights for avian birds above their cages and for fish tank filtering because it
right,
kills unnecessary bacteria, but it doesn't kill the good bacterias that you need. It just kills the bad bacterias. And you replace the light bulb every 6 months or so because
right.
UV bulbs back then especially went bad after about 6 months. And we talked about it. It was like if you really wanted a top notch aquarium or you had a one of those $4,000 parrots, you wanted that parrot's air to have ultraviolet light like you would get from the sun during the day, and then you would turn it off and cover the cage at night so the bird got a natural day night cycle.
And my friend had a big parrot, and of course it died young because he didn't do any of that. And of course that's true. Anything that mimics the natural cycle of things or the diurnal variation of a
Yeah.
living thing, and you imitate it, is going to be
Isn't
helpful.
that the circadian rhythm or
Yeah, that's part
yeah.
of it too. Or homeostasis. the idea that
Homeostasis is the other thing I
right,
was thinking of. Yep.
which is but basically the way that all of the blood pressure medications work is they take one little chink out of your homeostatic
Right.
system to block this receptor or stimulate that receptor, whatever that causes the
Right.
vessels to relax or the heart to slow down
Just
or
slow down.
any
Yeah.
number of
Yeah. Exactly right. And that's
any
why
number of those.
I think Edward is homeostatic.
I, I
well,
think
well,
I think he may just be static. That's why they can't
he,
declare independence. He's
Or homeo. Yeah.
inertia. Is the word inertia allowed? That's not too
I
derogatory,
don't
is it?
think so in Canada.
that should work. Well, and I can't figure out whether it's the statins or the metformin. And to all the pharmacy people out there that are looking to sue us, we're just having a general conversation and giving no scientific basis in what I'm about to say. But my
And
mom
I've
now drinks
already
18 cups of water a day. She is always drinking and always pissing because of all the shit you guys have her on. Just because she's 73.
yeah, and she hates it.
Oh God, she hates it. But she
Yeah,
can't go anywhere without filling 3 giant Yetis full of water and ice. And she will empty them in a 3 or 4 hour venture. Like that. But 3 or 4 of them she takes with her,
Yeah, I
Paul.
do 10 a day minimum.
10? Jesus.
I do 10 a
A lot of
day.
water.
Dude, I start up at 6 and I drink and drink and drink and drink and drink and pee and
Uh,
pee and pee and
no,
pee
I
and pee.
I get where you're going. I get where you're going, JC. I get where you're going because that's also water content too. But that water
yes, it is.
content's been purified.
But I gotta say, Sean, I do it because I love water. And so I've got unfiltered water coming out of my well here in Texas.
Yeah,
And it's the best tasting water ever.
it's got all the
And I don't
minerals.
drink iced tea. I don't drink sodas. I drink some Jameson.
Imagine
But
that.
man, I'm water, water, water all the time, dude.
But Jameson, so this goes back. Edward's gonna again miss out on shit that he could totally be involved in. The
Well, yeah,
reason
I mean,
in the first testament of biblical times why people turned water into wine, why they fermented things, was because it purified the water. Now it did add alcohol and some taste, but it was because they purified their water. Going on to what you're saying, Paul, your water's already been filtered by the ground around you because we don't
Right.
poop and pee in our
Yep.
water supply anymore.
Right.
Since you have that and now it's naturally filtered, you get all the extra minerals out of the ground that come up into your water, of
Yeah,
course.
100%. Yep.
But
I
the
just
entire reason that people fermented water into alcohol was so that it was drinkable. Because it wasn't drinkable because human beings at that time pooped and peed where they laid.
right, like
Well, I gotta
Indians,
say,
like they do in India.
I
Yes.
gotta say, JC, the Jameson is just fermented correctly, and it
I
has some.
want you to go to the fish tank store. I really want to know what the pH level of that is. You can pick up a test for about $6 or $7. A couple of drops of Jameson, drops of the chemical, and I want to know right where the pH balance is of Jameson.
Hmm. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but that's okay.
It's totally doable.
Yeah, it's doable. Yeah, 100%. But so
Canadians, for what it's
so
worth,
I had 101 fever all weekend. Coughed until I retched. Called my doctor or went on my chart and messaged my doctor and said, "Dude, I'm fucked up. I'm traveling at the end of the week. Can you squeeze me in just to see something?" So she brought me in at 9:30. She did another chest X-ray, and she said, "I gotta say, you still have the pneumonia virus, but it looks much better than it did back in August. And I'm like, how
Well,
long do you have
my question is,
pneumonia? Like
what's going
six,
on?
8 months or
My question is, what's going on with your immune system? Because your immune system should kill
right.
the virus.
So I
And
did I
whether
took,
you have medicines that make you feel better or not.
they took the, you know, John Holmes Q-tip and stuck it up my fucking nose for the COVID test and the flu test. Both
Retarded.
of them came back negative. And then she said, I think it's rhinovirus. And I'm like, really? My wife has MS. Am I going to sleep out in the barn? I can't give her
Right. Well, sure.
rhinovirus. Are you sure about that? She goes, I know you tested negative. This really looks like a flu. And I'm like, okay, what do I do?
Sure.
So she gave me some cough syrup. Dude, I gotta tell you guys something that's funny. I was coughing so hard this morning that I was retching, but I didn't vomit, but it was like, you know how you get that and nothing comes up? And then all of a sudden, from the middle of my spine, I felt 65 pounds of pressurized diarrhea coming down the chute. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm leaning over the toilet, and then I put the waste basket under my ass, and I'm like, at some point in time, JC, I think I got this backwards. I think I need to sit on the toilet and puke into the trash can. And I barely got it done in time. And I was like,
It makes you wonder what they put in, and
That's what they recommend in pharmacy school, Paul, is to puke in the bucket and crap in
puke in the bucket, and shit
all
in
right.
the toilet.
In case you're wondering, yeah.
And then she said, so what was interesting was the doctor said, look, I don't want you to take Imodium. I want you to get all that shit out of you. You gotta just process that out, and don't take any Imodium or anything to change it. And I'm like, okay, but every time I cough or I sneeze, I got to change my underpants because it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it basically it's a shark.
It's a shark. Yeah, that's exactly right, JC. It's a shark, and
I'm trained in this.
Professional level shark. I'm talking PBA level bull riding shark. That's what it is.
Well, it's Texas size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the answer was Dimetapp with no Imodium, but I don't know
Right.
that I don't know that helped anything other than your cough.
No, she gave me some.
No. I don't know that it helped anything other than your cough. You can suppress the cough. What I'm getting at is I really don't understand what's going on with your immune system. That this is a continuing thing, and they're not. And the doctor, it doesn't seem to be addressing the autoimmune issue that must be going on inside of your body.
Right.
He's vaccinated.
And I'm still so short of breath, Sean. I put my little, finger thing on, and one day I'm 93, but most days I hover around 88.
Shit.
And I told her today, I said, I was 85 when she took it today at the doctor's office. And I'm like, I can't catch my breath. I can't catch my breath.
Are you taking any zinc?
Dude, I'm taking 5,000 fucking pills, JC. So let me tell you what I did. And I did want to bring this up to you. And I hope we don't have a bunch of followers on here, but I took all of the pills that I take,
I got you. Okay.
right? And I went to my counselor. That's my VA counselor for my PTSD and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is very AI savvy. And he said he calls her Serafina, which I think is a little weird, but I don't care. And he said, "Hey, Serafina, I would like you to devise a homeopathic plan and diet for Paul so that he can wean himself off these 13 prescriptions that he has." And in about 4 minutes, it was 18 pages. And
Sure.
so now I'm doing, I'm buying turmeric, lemon water tea in the morning, just different things and stuff like that to try to, um, I don't know. I don't know what it's trying to help me to do, but
I'll tell you what I want to help you do. I want to help you get that crap out of your lungs.
Yep.
yeah,
Well, and obviously that's got to be a conversation that's not public.
Right.
And it'll be between the two of you. But I agree. That's why I brought it up, Paul. Your autoimmune system, your immune system, should have already defeated whatever's in it. And so something is suppressing it. And
something, right,
you guys will have to have a conversation about what maybe those possible things are that are
right.
suppressing it. I obviously can't help there. And obviously we don't want to give unsolicited medical advice.
No.
No,
We would
when it
never
comes
do
with
that.
JC, it would be totally solicited medical advice. I'm
Right.
specifically talking about me. So I like that's something that we could totally do in an offline video session, or
Yeah,
you guys can have a
and
phone
JC,
call
I'd
about it.
like to send you this whole AI thing
Yeah, okay.
because I think
That'd be
there's some
cool.
wholesome part, I think there's some legitimate goodness in there. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there is.
And although I'm smart in the defense industry, I'm not smart when it comes to my own health. So I don't know. You know what I
Right.
mean? I like my counselor. He's a solid guy. We were both cops. We were both in the military. You know what I mean? We connect pretty well, but he's a little more, you know, butterflies and mushrooms than I
Rainbows.
am.
Yeah.
Right
He's
on,
like, "Oh, you need to do ketamine."
Paul. We are there for you, but I don't know if this is the there for you.
No, this isn't
Okay.
the forum, but yeah, we need
So
to
I'm
set
gonna
something up.
we
Yep.
will absolutely do that. I'm gonna move on to this real quick.
Charlie passionately wanted to reach and save the lost
Is
boys,
that Erica?
Yeah.
the young men who feel like they have no direction, no purpose, no faith, and no reason to live. The men wasting their lives on distractions, and the men consumed with resentment, anger, and hate. Charlie wanted to help them. He wanted them to have a home with Turning Point USA. And when he went onto campus, he was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking. He wanted to show them that. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
So powerful, absolutely powerful. The keynote speaker was Trump, and for whatever it's worth, I thought the 3 minutes of Erica Kirk was the highlight of the 8 hour event of Turning Point Action, and just some personal interactions I had with my mother. I wish Trump wouldn't have spoke. And with my aunt, I won't watch it. Charlie Kirk is a vile racist and sent me literally a whole thing of lines, single lines that Charlie Kirk had either said or repeated. And if you just read that line, you would, like 12 of them, you would believe he's the most disgusting human being that's ever existed on the planet. They're not willing to even go look at the conversation, which is probably 3 minutes tops of where that line came from with that student or activist that came up and talked to Charlie Kirk. And he was probably just repeating in some cases what they said. So let me be clear. You said, but then that's where it starts on this email forward email thing for this would be for an 83-year-old woman. Says she doesn't social media, but she still social medias through emails the way you all remember the forward emails
Sure.
10, 15 years ago. And she sent it to me, and she's like, if this is the man that you're talking about, that I want nothing to do with that racist bastard. And I said that this isn't the man I'm talking about because none of this is true. I said those words might have been coming out of his mouth because he was repeating back to clarify to the protestant that was engaging with him what they were saying, and it almost always shut them down because once they heard their own words back to them, they were like, "Holy, I'm the racist, or I'm the bigot, or I'm the Christian phobe, or the homophobe, or the whatever." It really struck me after just talking to those two engagements. I wasn't like the online stuff is vile, but I know it's always vile. I was talking to two people I know that are family that were like, I think this is real, and I was like, it's none of it's real. None of it. That is the opposite of what Charlie Kirk was.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk spent his time sitting down with people to have those conversations. He wasn't the one spewing the hate.
That's what he did.
The
He
other
didn't
person on the
spew
mic
anything.
over there
Yeah.
that was spewing the hate.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm reminded of living in New York, and first I want to protest that I lived in New York and I didn't get to meet Erica Kirk. Okay. Obviously, Charlie's a lot luckier than I am. You should have seen the broads I ran into in New York. Okay. But she was running a little shop in New York where she was donating sweatshirts or something if you brought one in. And he was there on a trip and he asked her to interview for Turning Point. By the time he got done with the interview, he said, I can't hire you because I want to date you. You know, and
And all his friends are like, dude, she's a 10 and you're a 4. Not a
right.
Yeah.
chance. And he's
And
like,
not
I
a
don't care.
chance.
I'm doing it
What's up,
anyways.
son?
I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah, what's up, John Holmes?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so with that aside, there's all these guys up there that want to try to suck up to the New York Times, and they've got a subscription to the Times because they read the editorial page and they're in the know or whatever. And
Oh
they
yeah.
would constantly at work, we'd be at lunch, and they'd start making some of these hackneyed comments, and of course I'd do what I do all the time and just stick it up their ass. And a few of them were up for the fight. So we go back and forth. And there was this one guy in particular who I finally got him to talk. And we were at an extended lunch, and everybody, oh, we got to go back. I said, no, I said, we're close to resolution here. And we got there. And of course, I pinned him. Okay. And he finally, this is what he croaks out of his mouth. Well, if people are forced to change, he says, what are you going to do about the blacks?
What about
And
him?
I said, what
What
what do you
about
mean?
what?
Yeah,
He says,
what do you mean?
I
What
mean,
about
I
him?
mean that might be okay for you or I, but what about? I said, you racist. I said,
Oh, yeah,
you
yep.
absolute disgusting, vile racist. And after all of the posturing you clowns do on race on a daily basis, this is what you
Wow.
really think? Hey
Yep.
man, don't get so animated. And I'm like, no, obviously you said that out loud because it doesn't bother you to be a
Right.
racist. And
Yeah.
from that point forward, what I've discovered is they just are. And that's why you never see them back down when you catch them, because that's just a given. I mean, they've been racist since the beginning, and they're down there trading slaves at the southern border today. If Trump hadn't put a stop to it, they're
They're-
still
Yep.
racist.
That's
And
1000% true.
yeah,
Th-
okay. Anyway,
No, it's 1000% true. They are that. I'm glad you brought that point up because they are the racists, the homophobes, the bigots, the anti-Semites, the fascists that they call their opponents, which are us. That's
right.
what they are. And
Well,
once people realize that and just learn how to address it appropriately, those conversations. So you were able to have this conversation in person. You also got to look at both of you fellas, like with social media. People who we do this regularly, but people who don't do social media regularly are still living as if social media didn't exist. And here's what I'll explain that. They are looking at, like, if I'm in a public square or if I'm at the high school football game or and I'm expecting a certain level of backlash. No, it's 1000 fold on social media. And you have to be able to unplug yourself and reprogram Scott Adams, reprogram your brain to just not be offended by any of the disgusting things they say and just move on about it. And once you do, for me, I don't know how long it took for you, JC, probably quicker than me. About a year and a half, probably. It took me to finally get onto the game, and I was able to just, since I could totally ignore it, then I could just toy with them, which drove them absolutely insane.
well, they love it when I do it. You
Duh.
you you've seen now. Yeah, I'm beloved.
Oh, no, but right, but that's when you get the most interaction too, right? It's not chasing the left. It's not chasing the big left accounts. It's chasing the accounts below them that aren't
Right.
prepared to handle it back. And so
Right.
when you say something to them and then there's like 17 replies below your reply from just that same one account because
Yep.
they're just losing it. They can't believe you actually challenged them
Yep.
Yeah.
via thought.
Right.
Yep.
And it always ends up in the same place right now. So in the end, it comes down to Orange Man bad, right? That's
Yes.
that's that's the basis of your argument.
Yes.
Gee, I wonder why that didn't convince me this time when it didn't the last 49,999 times. I can't believe you didn't persuade me. I must be deficient.
It I will bring up one thing that I saw. That the chick finally deleted her post, but it was under a Charlie Kirk thing because people are still commenting
Oh
under
yeah.
Charlie Kirk's post. And Charlie Kirk, if you watch the video, he said slavery is the same thing as abortion. And right, so and that's the quote, and that's in one of these things that I was
Of
sent
course.
by
Right.
an
Yeah.
80-year-old aunt, right?
Yeah.
But if you listen to the whole thing, Charlie breaks down. Well, listen. First, not human embryo. That's the argument, right?
Well, that's their argument. Yeah.
Property,
Okay. Yep.
my body. And he goes to tell me he asked the guy that was talking because the guy was talking specifically about race, and he goes, I don't. There is no race. Race is a social construct. This was the conversation he was laying out. He goes that that you could look at. He goes when people look at bones that are 1,000 years old, they can give a geographic region. They can't tell you how much melatonin they had in their skin.
No.
Melatonin is the only thing that really defines race, is what he said. And he goes,
Race.
so
Yeah.
let me break this down again. Slavery is no different than abortion. Not my body, not a human. Right, and so people are like today, like even my aunt sent me that. She's got sent me something on it. You got to listen to this. So I said, I will. I will. I got a podcast to do. Uh, you didn't listen to the entire clip. He laid it out perfectly. If you don't look at somebody as a human,
Anything is possible.
anything is possible. Right, and if you look at something as property,
Even more.
anything is still possible.
Right.
That's disgusting.
Well, how
No,
was Charlie wrong?
No, that's right. And just before the nattering nabobs of negativism jump on you, Sean, it's melanin. Right. Melatonin is something else.
Yes, yeah.
No,
Oh,
right.
thank you for the correction. Actually, by the way,
No, I try to be kind. I know that if you put that in a clip, you know what'll happen. Anyway.
yes, no, yeah, absolutely correct. But if this is what we're all fighting against, right? This is what people get sent. So I should just post the Ford email
Yeah.
online and say this is what people believe who Charlie were, and then go grab a clip of this exact thing I'm talking about,
Right.
where he says slavery is no different than abortion.
It would be a magnum opus if you do them all and do them in a sequence in a poly thread, where you each one. But life is short.
Easier said than done, but yes,
Yeah.
it would be that would be big.
Listen, if I was at Turning Point and I was an intern, I might do that.
If I
Just
could,
what
if
the
I could
hell?
do
Yeah,
social media only as a job, I would do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But just like the rest of you, I also have another job.
Right. And
Yeah.
I honestly don't have the tools or the editing tools or that to do that stuff. You're a lot better at that than I am.
Mm, you might. We can discuss the how I do it later, but
Okay.
you might have some of the tools at least. But
Oh,
it's
since
not
yep,
it's not that the tools are inaccessible. It's the amount of time it takes to put in to do it. Right.
okay.
Even when I write on Substack, or if I'm doing other stuff on different platforms, I still I have to schedule it in somehow to my day in between whatever else I got to do, work or take care of mom, or take the call from the kid, or maybe my brother needs me to go drive 4 miles, 30 minutes away. 4 miles. Can we talk about how traffic easing has made car traffic slower? And let his dogs out, right? So it's not that the tools aren't available; it's you only have so many hours a day to do all of this stuff. Yeah, and we're not at a point where I can
and
only
without
do social media
and
without
without
doing other things.
and you have to have the time to do it without interruption. That's
Yeah.
the
And
key.
I have to say that would include JC combing his hair.
Hair and makeup's a big deal,
Yeah,
honestly.
it
Yeah.
really
I
is.
did.
You
I
got
didn't
that
have
Joe
time.
Cocker
I
thing
didn't have
going.
time
Pretty good.
tonight. I actually left a couple of people in the shop and told them, "Hey, the back door is a crash door. You guys just bust out." And I got here, and you saw when I got here, I sat down 1 minute before we started, and I went raw. I'm raw dogging
He's
it.
raw dogging
Raw dog and orange county. That's bad.
My boy.
it. uh,
I don't look nearly as smart like this. Anyway,
is it? Wait. No, hold on. I mean, like smart people, do they typically look well presented? Other than maybe Elon has just accepted that he needs to sometimes get dressed up and show up at turning point action things. But look at Einstein.
no, no, no.
Look at Sir Isaac Newton. Uh,
Well,
with
there's
the,
decorum
with
also.
the under chin, right? The
Yeah, but
underbite that
there's
he
also
had.
decorum. So when I have meetings with leadership, I take off my green T-shirt and I put on a button-down Oxford cloth shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter my sleeves and go, "Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?"
At
And they're
least I
like,
got at least I got the green T-shirt memo.
"Yeah,
Oh, I went with Tatooine today.
Okay, all right.
Is that Galatians? What does that say?"
Tatooine, the binary
The
suns
Star Wars.
planet out of the Star Wars canon, and the reason I did it was my daughter texted me last night, maybe 8:30 at night, and said, "Hey, so there's a debate going on at school." Now she's 13. She goes, "The Star Wars canon. What's the proper way to watch it? Should it be chronological or should it be?" And I was like, whoa, hold down, slow down. I said the proper way to watch it is in the way that it was done by Spielberg, right? It was which 4, 5, 6, 1,
Right,
2, 3. Everything else is bullshit because it got bought by Disney.
right.
And you can watch the bullshit if you want, but it's 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. There is no other in the canon. And she goes, "Thank you. That's the answer I was looking for."
If you tried to watch it 1, 2, 3, by the time you got to 4, you'd be hating it.
Oh, you'd be like, what the fuck is this Jar Jar Binks dude? Like, this is
Right.
retarded.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch anymore.
I
I,
have
I
no idea what you guys are talking about.
well, well, let me
So,
just say that
A New
episode
Hope,
one
fall,
episode one was a.
1977. Set
I watched it the
1977.
other night.
1977, A New Hope. The very first Star Wars movie to come to theaters, right? And then there was The Empire Strikes Back, then
Right.
Return of the Jedi. 4, 5, and 6 in the
I
book
saw all
series.
three of those first ones. Yep.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a prequel, books 1, 2, and 3," which
20 years later.
they introduced characters that people really didn't like, but what they were trying to do was explain how Anakin became Darth Vader. And it was like,
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Anakin became Darth Vader?
Yes.
That's what they tell us, right? And then there was 789, which was where the Jedi turned into a chick who never had Jedi training whatsoever. She was just a Jedi because of her metachlorians or whatever the fuck.
She picked up a lightsaber and knew
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
without any trips to the cave with Yoda or any of that stuff.
None.
Oh yeah, no,
Didn't need any training. It was easy, just
yeah.
super
He
easy.
was a
Girl power.
I just had
yeah,
the force, right? And
yeah.
all girls have the force. So feminism 101 was 7, 8, and 9. I didn't bother explaining that to my kid yet. I said start
Based
back.
on my marital history, not all women have the force.
No, you're kidding. Well, they have the force to make sure that you pay them for the rest of their life. Because I've experienced that
Force of law. Yeah.
through feminism. Be honest, if we didn't go through the feminism movement,
Why you got to bring that shit up right now, dude?
Try to impress everybody.
Half my retirement. I've been married to Tanya 26 years. I was married to Hezbollah for 12,
All right,
and
so
I
I got
still give her half of my retirement because that's Florida law. Come on
no.
vacation, leave on probation.
When the fuck is DeSantis gonna fix that? We got 4 minutes left. 3 minutes
Ooh,
left. We got 3 minutes left. Hold on. England, France, Australia, Canada all declare Palestine is a real thing, just like Narnia. My question is it inside of one of those countries? Is it inside of Canada, Australia, France,
It
or
is
England?
not. That is so stupid. I can't believe they said that.
I've never heard King Edward bitch about Palestine being in Canada, so I think no.
Well, but like they said, it's a thing. It's a thing just like Narnia, or it's a thing like the Emerald City from Wizard of Oz. They said it's a thing.
Did
So
you hear what happened?
like my argument is if it's a thing, it should be a thing in your country's capital, right? Just give your capital to Hamas.
Right.
Well, they in Britain they've already done that, haven't they?
Sort of.
Yeah. I mean, did you hear what happened as soon as Starmer said that? No, the head of the PLO or Hamas or whoever it is asked for reparations for the
Oh,
uh
yep.
yeah, the first 29 years of colonial rule under Britain for that land.
Two
Yeah, they won
trillion.
like 40 trillion or something.
2 trillion was the ask I heard. Yeah, 2 trillion in reparations.
Reparations.
Where do you think they get the idea for reparations from?
Gee, I don't know.
Us.
Oh
We
no.
get it from us.
No, it couldn't possibly be the West,
Oh, it's
right?
possibly that.
So Paul, why aren't they inviting them in to their countries when they're making up imaginary countries? Why aren't they inviting them and giving them land?
Because they're duplicitous in their dogma. They don't believe what they're saying, although they keep saying it over and over out loud.
It's virtue signaling. That's what it is.
So are they
They're trying.
No. God, that's great. Well, are they wagging the dog?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And they're
wagging the
trying
dog.
to
Yeah.
assuage the libtard women that Edward constantly complains about. Oh, the poor Palestinians, and to get some Arab votes. That's all it is. It's
Yeah, but
cheap.
he'll like when they post stuff with its thirst trap shit. He'll still be the first one underneath that post saying, "Hello, looking great."
Yeah, but I
Actually,
gotta tell you,
yeah.
the end all be all of today's conversation was JC said assuage.
Dude, there was a lot of big words
And
used
then
today.
you gotta know Edward would be like, I hate to interrupt, but what?
Well, he'll be here tomorrow, and we'll be making fun of you because he probably won't be.
I probably won't. Yeah,
So
that's true.
we'll be making fun of you, old man.
Hey, bro, I got to tell you guys, I'm headed to Florida for my 30-year DEA reunion with all my dope guys down there and stuff. And I'm just beside myself with excitement.
Do me a favor, get a bunch of get a bunch of video clips and send them to me, and then we can discuss and collaborate as how to put that together in a video feed to put on the podcast as a standalone. Even if it's only 15 minutes total.
Just like
but you
videos?
If you capture
photos?
You just capture just capture shit.
Yeah.
Right? And cut it up in 5 or 10 minute clips. And then once you get it to me, I have the movie processing software and I can send you what I think. And you can be like, no, that's too much. Or no, we need more of that one clip. And we can post it on the channel as a whole thing by itself. Whether it ends up being 15 minutes or it ends up being an hour, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's going to be awesome, bro. I got to tell you. Because for me, I'm going to be like this.
We'll hear you, but we won't see you. You're gonna be like this, or like this.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna be able to play that stuff because the video is fucking terrible. But dude, I know it's like, dude, like with your VA, if they do your local VA, if they do a turning point thing, and there's only 15 people there, but you're gonna be there anyways. Record that shit. We'll put it on the channel. We'll absolutely put it on the channel. Yes.
So my buddy Larry and I did a search warrant at a place called the Bullet Hole, and it was run by the Jamaican posse.
Of course.
Oh, all right.
So we did a search warrant, and me and this Jamaican guy were like me and JC looking right at each other going, gaggle, 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 gaggle at each other. And fortunately, he only hit me once, and I hit him 7 times. And he didn't know he was hit 7 times because he jumped out the window and ran to the front of the house. And at the front of the house, on our Jump Out Boys search warrant team, we had what we called the dog catcher. Because the Jamaicans were famous for getting bullies, pit bulls, and beating them up and making them meaner than hell. So we usually just executed them on the search warrant. So this guy goes out the window and goes around the front, and I'm yelling, I'm trying to kill him. I'm trying to kill him. And the dog catcher finally goes, oh.
I remember that story. We got to go, but I remember that story, and also remember the way you told it was, you're like, I don't understand why this human being isn't a pancake on the floor.
Yeah.
Because I swore to God I hit him with everything I shot.
Every fucking thing I had.
And for all of our stations listening, this was a law enforcement operation.
Yeah,
it wasn't something criminal.
It was just out hunting Jamaicans. Yeah, it was law.
Yeah, that's that. You know what? That's exactly what they're going to post about it later, or probably down in the comments below. No, this was a law enforcement operation, and I do remember that story because you're like, I have no idea why this guy didn't go down because he took everything.
I kept shooting
at him. Right?
I really kept shooting him.
Yeah.
And nobody told him that I was shooting him. So he just said, I'm leaving. But I tell you what happened, Sean, and I've told you this before I got rid of that goddamn Glock 9mm and I got
Yep.
me a 6-hour 45
40.
and
Yeah.
carried that
45.
the rest
Yeah.
of my career.
Yeah, so no, someone would know if they'd been hit. Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah.
got you.
All right, so message real quick, Paul. I've already told you, JC. Anytime you have, if you got something weird going on outside the shop, collect the video. And to all our listeners, my DMs are open. If you see some weird video and you think we should play it on here and discuss it, send it
Yep.
to my DMs are open. Send it to me.
I'll vouch for him. Stalker free. You can trust him. You can send him a DM, and he's not gonna try to get your personal information.
Yeah, I could care less. I actually don't even have time to have flirty conversations with Asian women that are going to say, "Hey, didn't I meet you in New York
I
City
don't
last
even have
week?"
time. I don't even have time to do a group chat. I mean,
Right?
who does?
I
Yeah.
don't. But if there's videos that you want to send us and you want to see them played, and they're valid, and we can prove they're valid, we will absolutely play them on the podcast. We got to close this one out, boys. We're running late. Good times. I wonder if that producer Sean guy is going to turn off the live stream. He probably should.